Hey, what's going on? It's your good friend Tramell Ray Isaac, Senior Art Director for PlanetSide 2, and this is Inside the Player Studio. This week, we got the usual, we got a critique, but we also have a special interview with our good friend Frosty40. So he's going to talk about some of his techniques and why he does what he does. And we're going to talk to him a little bit later. But I'm going to jump into this right away. We'll probably do like 15 minutes of, a little bit of critique back and forth, answer some questions, jump into the Frosty 40, then do some more critique. Kind of break it up like that. So, okay, so if you have first time joining me here on Inside the Player Studio, this is where I show you guys how to make some really, really cool stuff. Basically critiquing the creator's artwork and showing some do's and don'ts, some ins and outs, some ups and downs, and all that other good stuff. So if you are unfamiliar with what we do, the very first thing you should do is take a trip over to the forums. Everybody loves the forums. Player Studio forums, a wealth of knowledge waiting there at your fingertips. If you need anything, if you want some advice, some information, go to the forums. If you need a little bit of some tips and some tricks, go to the forums. Or you can tune in to Inside the Player Studio. Episodes are up on YouTube now, 1 through 5. This is episode 6. So if you think you missed something, go check those out. Make sure you subscribe to that channel and give me a thumbs up because I am so awesome. Yes, indeed. All right, so I picked out a couple of these beforehand, which I thought were pretty interesting. Also, another little tidbit of information for those who don't know. I have a Imgur page that has a crap ton of information, reference basically. This is what I use for reference material when you're making sci-fi stuff, etc., etc. If you go to trayisaac.imgur.com and check out all of these reference material. So of course, reference is just gathered material from around the internet. So some of these things are actually work from Player Studio stuff as well, and there is also some work from the PlanetSide 2 team, but the majority of this stuff comes from the internet. So I don't claim to own any of this stuff. So let's start with that. But if you go through this, you can see you basically find some shapes in here that kind of work with some of the TR stuff if you really want to. But the basic purpose of reference is to gather ideas from different locations, different sources. You want to get all of that information in your brain, and then you can disseminate it into something useful as far as like when you're trying to achieve the look of the Vanu or trying to achieve the look of TR and NC. So, like I said, there's a bunch of stuff in here. Some really cool work from a lot of different artists around the world. I can't even tell you who these people are, but they do some really, really cool stuff. I thought it was really cool, so I just grab it and throw it in there. And this is just another resource for you guys to take a look at and find some stuff that you can use in your helmets when you're making sci-fi stuff. So some really cool stuff. Look at it. Iron Man. Got the Iron Man in there, of course. Judge Dredd. Of course, he's in there. Captain America. Hey, look at this. Oh, also, you'll also find in my album, there's also a tab for Player Studio. So I've also done some draw-overs for Player Studio stuff, and I've done this in the past. Every once in a while, when I have some free time, I'll do one. So please take a look at some of those, and maybe you won't make those same mistakes as these other guys did. So I try to explain it, as best I can with the red pen, the types of details you probably want to add to your helmet to make it a little bit more interesting. And this goes all the way back to the very beginner. Remember this one? That was a pretty good one. Even the best of us need a little bit of help. That was a pretty good helmet. I like that one. This one came out pretty good. Nice little critique. This is how it used to look, and this is what I was talking about adding, making some changes, meaner look, facets, and stuff like that. Of course, I just tossed that one in there because that's the final product That's what one of the helmets looks like after we get done with it. Obviously, you guys don't get a chance to put the detail normals on your helmets just yet, but I was in a meeting last week, and there is good news a-coming. Probably next week. I'm going to say, no, probably in the next 2 weeks. Next 2 weeks, I'm going to have my good friend Chris Lang on here, or at least he doesn't know that yet, but he's going to be on here. And he's going to explain some things that are going to change with Player Studio. So stay tuned to that. That's going to be interesting. Very cool stuff coming our way. Trust me. Okay. So, and then, of course, again, just kind of showing like the final product on some of these things. Some of the things that you guys don't get to see until it gets into the game. But, again, this page is good for, you know, just kind of getting information and some resources and some references for how to build helmets and such. All right, so let me go ahead and start with my first one that I found in the forums. And looking at this one, it's obviously this person's a new member, Abramus 5250. So, all right, yeah, so the problem with this one is it just doesn't fit any of the styles of Player Studio needed helmet. So, you know, it doesn't fit NC, doesn't fit TR, doesn't fit VS. So you need to, first and foremost, you need to find out where you're going with that. You know, what empire do you want it to fit? And you need to, you know, get the style guide and study some of the helmets that have been made in the past and get that information and then try to make something that fits within that style. So for this helmet, it doesn't really look like a helmet, and I'm assuming that this person is fairly new to 3D because he's, you know, experimenting a lot, which is fine. You know, everybody has to start somewhere. That's good. At least you're making an effort, and that's good too. You know, you got to try. Got to try. If you can't, you can't win if you don't try. So, so yeah, this guy, you know, keep pushing. Trust me, it'll come together eventually, but you got to start somewhere. And then, you know, with this one, you might want to start with a concept that's less intimidating as far as like starting with 3D. Just start with something on paper and flesh it out then, and then start working your way up. Because you just start with 3D and you're not really familiar with 3D and you're trying to noodle in 3D, it's just going to become a mess. So it's a lot easier just to start on paper. So that's my suggestion for Mr. Abramus. See what else we got over here. Got a P3D file. Okay, King Kellogg. I was looking at this and I saw that you had this, I think this one is called Visage or something like that. So there's some really cool shapes in here. I like it. But again, you've got, I think I mentioned this in the forums, that you've got to straighten up some of your line work. It's very wiggly and kind of wobbly. You know, you got to get that stuff squared away. And on this helmet, it's a lot of little things that's going to get it to where it needs to be. So first and foremost, I would probably remove this. Just get rid of that altogether. It doesn't add, it makes really no sense into the structure of the helmet itself. It's not adding anything valuable to the look of the helmet. So I would just go ahead and take that off altogether. Remove the medic logos, get rid of those, because the bottom, you know, basically what you're trying to do is make a helmet that appeals to all the classes instead of just one of 6. So when you do that, if you make a class specific helmet that is a empire specific helmet, you've just basically cut your profits by 1/6. So if you want to make some money, you know, make them all encompassing. So you make something that fits all all the classes. But there's nothing stopping you from making an empire specific one. I'm just, you know, throwing it out there because, you know, ultimately, you know, it is about the money. Everybody wants to make some money, so don't fool yourself. So yeah, I would start by just go ahead and taking that out. I don't think it really adds anything. And there's a couple shapes in here, mainly this this jaw of the mask. It's got a little underbite. Kind of reminds me of an old man with no teeth on top. So you need to probably pull this back So pull it back so it's back to here somewhere around there, like that, and then continue this curve all the way down instead of going out, back, and then out again. So just go ahead and continue that line like that on the profile. Make sure you get a nice strong jawline. Like this just kind of like burp, slopes down into like a worm neck. So go ahead and tuck that up under there like that. Gives you a nice strong jawline. Everybody wants to look like a superhero, so you don't want anything that makes your head look weak. And then of course when you submit this, remove the head from that unless you really need to have the head in there, but it doesn't look like you do. Let me look at this again. Obviously you got some texture issues. Things don't really match up. Your line work, you can probably spread this out a little bit more so that you get one more subdivision in there. And make sure that it looks like your neck is actually slightly leaning forward. So I don't know if that's the way you wanted it, but it looks like it's coming this way. So just make sure that it lines up with the helmet, with the head that we currently have in there. Let me see. I'm gonna do a little wireframe. So you can see that your helmet is like tilted forward a little bit. You got a lot of extra space in there. So what that does is when it fits on the character, it will kind of make the body off balance, because you're already giving a little extra girth to the head, and the head is already fit to the body, so it looks decent when it's got armor on it. But you don't want to have too much extra around the helmet, because then you'll end up looking like a bobblehead. So you don't want that. So make sure you get this as tight as possible on the head. What else would I do to this thing? You can definitely round this stuff out. Add some more geometry in there, clean that up, straighten these lines up. I don't know if this is intentional or not, but if that is, then actually round that out if that's the case, but then straighten these lines up so that they actually go swoop back on the helmet. Add some more geo here so you don't end up with this angle right there. Just go ahead and round that out. TR is all about smooth shapes, so you want to round that out as best you can. What else? Get rid of these hoses. They don't do anything. Hose from here to there, what is that gonna do? That should be internal, so just get rid of that. I'm not really sure what this is. If this is a vent, make it a vent. And just clean up your geometry around here. Just round this out a little bit more. But it's almost there. So I mean, just a few adjustments, and you should be good to go. But I think this is a good idea that needs a little bit more refinement. So there you go. Let's get that one done, Mr. Kellogg. All right, let's see who else we're gonna pick on today. Oh, my good friend Steve-O. All right, Steve-O. I hope you're in chat. Are you there? Are you there? Okay, well, you'll have to watch the recap on this. All right, so let's see if he's actually got a head in here. Nope. First and foremost, you got a lot of geometry on the inside of this. Get rid of it. Get rid of all that extra geometry. Any geometry that you cannot see from the outside must go. So please remove all that, and you can use that geometry somewhere else to make this thing shine. Okay, so this is something that I see a lot down here, all the way down here in the neck area, all about the neck and chin area. Okay, so what we need is a consistent line that goes from here all the way to the back, so that when your head moves back and forth, side to side or whatever, it actually bends uniformly. So when we rig this up, this is gonna collapse and do all kind of crazy stuff, and it's not gonna look good. So you need a consistent line, at least 3 subdivisions on the neck, at least. You can have more, that's fine, but at least, very least, 3 subdivisions that start from the chin, the bottom of the chin, to the bottom of the neck. 3 consistent subdivision that go all the way through, not stuff that go like this and comes up and pops back down, because each one of these things is going to actually, they're going to fold in at a different rate because they're at different distances. So you need to subdivide that completely all the way through these pieces, even though that they're separate pieces. Looking at it from the back, I like this part right here. The rest of this stuff is too much. I would keep maybe 3 of these. Cut the bottoms off of this so it's not like all tucked under there and stuff. Same thing here. Just cut this bottom ring off. I don't know what's going on with these things. Just get rid of those altogether. But anything from these 3, take these 3, leave those there, and then take these all the way up to the front and make those black. Because at least you still have the structure there that you're trying to get, but you don't end up looking at the neck as opposed to the head, because that's the whole, you want the focus to be here. You don't want it to be here, because right now that's where the focus is. I'm actually focused on the neck because that's what draws my eye. So yeah, like I said, just get rid of it, make all that stuff black, clean that up, clean up your geometry. And then some of the, I don't know if this is supposed to be an angle there, or if you're trying to round that out, make that more apparent. If that is supposed to be a sharp angle, you might want to sharpen that too, so that you get the sharp angle so it looks intentional. And what else? I think that's it for now. And it looks like your smoothing groups are set, so you need to probably make sure this stuff does not have this bubbly kind of look to it. So make sure your lines are straight. And I think that's about it without actually getting into the model itself. But yeah, this right here looks a little weird. Right there. Bam, bam. Looks a little weird. So try to figure out what's going on in there. Clean this stuff up. Make your geometry straight, so you end up with this flat line. So I mean, this thing is going to look really, really cool if you can flatten all this stuff out and make it look intentional. Right now, it's just kind of looks a little sloppy. So clean up your line work, and then you'll be on your way, sir. Thank you, Steve-O, for allowing me to do that. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. All right, I'm going to take a couple questions before we get into this interview with my good friend, Frosty40. So anybody got any questions in there, just toss them in there. T-Ray, if you have time, could you go over the VS Scar? No, the Scar was declined because it was a duplicate. Somebody, McFluff, I think you had submitted it twice. The Scar is actually already done. So to answer your question, no, I'm not going to go over it because it's already done. There you go. It's just waiting on Taylor to assign it to a release date. So your work is done there, sir. Move on. I saw you, posting to the same thread. You might as well just forget it. It's already too late. Anybody else? Real quick, will Player Studios items be sold on PS4 release? Yes, they will be. Rip Cog. So PS4 stuff, all the Player Studio stuff that's in the build that gets sent to SCEA when we do our PS4 will have everything that has that is Player Studio to that date. So whatever that date is, that's what's there. So will you go over how to handle the texture? I can't really go over how to handle the texture at this moment. I'm actually in Studio B, which is the backup studio. So I actually have all of my equipment here to handle the texture. So I'm assuming you wanted me to show you some Maya wizardry or something like that. I can't right now. I'm sorry. H1Z1's doing some stuff in Studio A, so I had to get the backup running. The plan was to not actually have this show today, but I was like, no, that can't happen. These guys need the help. So it's like, give me a backup plan. It was like, you can use the backup studio. It's like, all right, let me do that. So I'm in the backup studio. I'm a little short on equipment, but I'm able to broadcast, and that's all I need. So maybe I can do something that kind of helps you with that texture question later on in the show. Who knows? When are we getting berets? I don't know. I don't set the release date. Oh, so there's something that I need to talk about. Let me go ahead and switch to the main camera so you guys get what I'm saying. All right, so when it comes to Player Studio stuff, I just review it, critique it, get it in the game, and send it off to get icons, and that's it. That's where my job stops. Taylor is the person that puts it in the game as far as making an item out of it, places it in a release schedule, and make sure that release schedule is kept. So I don't know what date your thing is going to go. It's got nothing to do with me, and I think that's a good checks and balances, because if you leave it up to me, I'd be like, oh, I'm only putting the best of the best at the front of the line. So I don't want to be held with that responsibility. So Taylor is the person that actually sets up the schedule and puts things on the marketplace. So when you ask me when is my thing coming out, I really don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know. The only way that I would know is to ask Taylor, just like you can. Hit her up on Twitter so she can tell you exactly when your stuff is coming out, if she's already put it in the marketplace list. So there you go. And then I think you have to pay attention to make sure you know that your stuff is out. Somebody asked me today, hey, when is my thing coming out? And I was like, I don't know. Then I went and checked, and it was already out. It had been out for a month and a half already. And, the guy didn't even know it. So you got to pay attention to what's coming out. And if anybody doesn't know what there's Taylor's Twitter handle. So hit her up and ask her all the questions you want about Player Studio items and when they're coming to light. So there you go. Anybody have one more question? I'm going to go ahead and start up this Frosty 40. He says whatever, blah 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 blah. Thank you for your info, Doug FICO. See who else. What is H1Z1? H1Z1 is Smed's new project that he decided to man himself, along with a bunch of other awesome artists, designers, and programmers. It is our zombie open world game. So you can check out H1Z1 Game on Twitter and get the latest updates. And of course, they will be having Player Studio items as well. So if you're looking to make some real world zombie stuff, wait until they come to the market. There's some really cool stuff. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start up this interview with my good friend Frosty 40. So here you go. Enjoy, please. Once again, it's me, Tramell Ray Isaac, and I got my good friend Jordan Newman, aka Frosty 40. What is up, Frosty 40?
Enjoying PlanetSide as much as I do, and enjoying making stuff for PlanetSide.
So how long have you been playing PlanetSide 2?
I've been playing PlanetSide 2 since beta. I was very anxious to get in. I actually made my Twitter account to try to get into PlanetSide 2. So since the first day,
Battle rank Empire you play?
My highest battle rank is in the 60s, but I have people like 40s, 30s, 50s all over the place. I play on every server with every character. Vanu, mainly.
Oh, okay.
Mainly Matherson.
Obviously a smart man talking to here. All right, so what made you decide to just go ahead and start making items for Player Studio?
I love the game, and so I had a little bit of knowledge about Maya beforehand. When I saw that the Player Studio was out, it just got me really excited. I mean, that's like a dream opportunity to be able to contribute to a game so large with so many people. So I kind of dove right in.
Sweet. So how much training did you have before?
I had worked in film, and I was familiar with the tool sets, and I had been working for about 6 months practicing and kind of getting back into it before the Player Studio release. So self-taught internet videos, about 6 months.
Sweet. So tell us, what are your inspirations when you start to make your helmets? Like, what is it that you start off with? How do you start the concept process?
Each helmet's going to be different. There's a helmet I'm working on right now that's based on the Ferrari Testarossa. I haven't posted that one yet, but I like to find objects that really inspire me. So one of my favorite helmets, the Viper, was actually started off being a version of the Predator. I was like, I really want to do something that has a Predator feel, so I had dreadlocks and all this stuff. And in the process of making it, the revisions ended up, it just changed and changed and changed and ended up being what it is now.
So you talk about the process. So did that process, did the helmet evolve throughout just posting onto the forums and stuff like that, or did you get feedback somewhere else?
Yeah, considerably. It went through so many stages. Like I said, the first one had dreadlocks. When I first came to the forums, I posted it as an all-race Nanite Systems helmet, and it had a lot of different aspects. And the second I posted it, people were really nice, and then people just immediately chimed in and were like, hey, you need to change this. This isn't going to work for Vanu and all this kind of stuff. And so I immediately got good feedback, and the helmet kind of got... it had a life of its own after that with the forum feedback and all that. So it kind of metamorphosized after it was posted.
Sweet. So how do you find time to make your helmet?
I make the time. It's worth it. It's worth the time to make the items, and I've seen that. So I really try to put at least 5 hours a day into it, making items or models of some sort.
So how long does it normally take you to go through the process with one helmet?
One helmet, when I finish... the first version of a helmet, which no item has ever finished on this first version, the first version of a helmet probably takes about 4 days of hard work, like everyday working. Otherwise, it's going to be about a week to 2 weeks before I would release something that would then be kind of submitted for criticism.
Okay. So have you tried anything else like harasser attachments or hood ornaments, anything like that?
Yes, hood ornaments. I find if you're just starting out with the Player Studio and you want to try modeling and all this stuff, I would suggest doing hood ornaments. I've made a couple of those. Like my favorite would be the rock hand because I was looking at my fingers when I did that, and it turned out pretty nice. I really enjoy making stuff for the harasser as well. That's one of the reasons I've been looking at a lot of car models lately. Kind of getting inspiration for body parts and all that. So
name all the helmets that you've made so far, or all the items actually. Or
no,
can you
I can
name all
name the
of them?
items in game. I've made like over 20 items, and definitely not all of them have been accepted. But the Viper is probably one of my favorites. That I really like that design. The Avalanche was an Esamir themed helmet. The Raider is an NC helmet that hasn't made it into the game yet, but I've seen videos of it and stuff, so we'll see that, I don't know, sometime. There's the Frostbreaker, which is a TR helmet that just came out recently. I like that one. It's got kind of a pretty mean looking. And then there's the Lone Star for the NC. So those are the helmets right now that are in game, and then I have a couple more submitted or in the process and all that kind of stuff.
Sweet, sweet. So here it is. It's all about the money. So you've been in this since the beginning, right? Since the very beginning.
Not the very beginning. I was in it after the first. There was one release of helmets that I missed out on. So I was real close to the beginning.
All right.
Yeah.
So did you receive a check yet? Have you received any of the checks?
Yes.
Right,
I received a check for the Viper being in the. I believe it was like 2 months. So the last quarter, they participated in a portion of the last quarter. And I got $3,500 for that.
$3,500 for the first set, right?
And that was just one item, and I don't even know how long it was selling for that to cut out. So I was immediately, when I got that, I was like, okay. Me and my wife are pretty happy about that.
That was pretty good money. So,
Yeah,
what did you end up doing with the first check?
Taxes. I, took care of some taxes, and then I got a PlayStation.
Right.
So I got a PlayStation, got an Intuos tablet, new headset.
Sweet.
Upgrades.
All right. So it's like over 20 items, right? 12 got it into the game, and then we've got the next quarter checks, which should be in your hand pretty soon here. And you obviously have no idea how much it is.
I have no clue.
I just happen to have the numbers right here on the paper. Imagine that.
I'm so surprised.
Would you like to know how much your next check is going to be, sir?
Yeah, I would love it. It'd be great.
$5. So congratulations, $5 whole dollars.
Oh, this is Clearinghouse, guys.
40.
I'm a winner.
I appreciate all your hard work, sir.
Yeah.
No, actually, your next check is going to be $8,600. There you go.
Thank you.
$8,600
Thank you, players.
for February,
Yeah.
January, February,
And
March.
that's not. I mean, that's not all the items I even mentioned. That's a portion of those because the release
Yep.
time and all that. So that's.
Nicely done. So that's a
Thank you.
total of $12,000 made through Player Studio since you started. Not too damn shabby.
No,
So,
no, it's not.
biggest question is, are you going to SOE Live?
Yes, I
You
am
better
definitely
be
going
there,
to SE
and
Live.
you owe me a drink, sir.
So,
Owe
yeah.
me a drink. I'm ready to get
yeah.
faded
I'll get you one.
on
I'll get you one
water
for sure.
and ice. So hook
Yeah.
me up with a nice cold ice water. Perfect. So is there anything else you'd like to add, Mr. 40?
No, thanks everybody. All the players. It's a lot of fun. You make the game something that really is. There's no other experience like it online. So I'm just really grateful for the opportunity. Thank you.
Sweet. All right, Frosty 40. This is Inside the Player Studio with Frosty 40, Mr. Jordan Newman, and this is it. I'm out. Thank you, Frosty 40, for that lovely interview, sir. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. See, even Frosty 40 can make big, big bucks. So nicely done, sir. All the hard work came to a head and made some money. There it is. See, all you gotta do is do a bunch of stuff, some really cool artwork, get it in the game, and sit back and collect your winnings. It's really simple. All right, so I saw a couple questions in the chat while Mr. 40 was doing his thing. Somebody asked about the Valkyrie. The Valkyrie, yes. When we do the Valkyrie, probably before we release the Valkyrie, we'll probably open up Player Studio to creating those assets. So we want to, when we release it, we want to try to get some assets out there and then get some Player Studio assets out there. So we're definitely going to do that as soon as we open that up, as soon as the Valkyrie is available. Hopefully that'll be roughly around summer or late summer, somewhere around there. I don't know. Depends on how schedule goes, but we're definitely trying to get it out here soon enough. And then, of course, anybody out there who's wanting to make Player Studio stuff for us who are not in the U.S. will have the opportunity to do so soon here, very soon. Their estimate is about the end of the month, but of course, subject to all kinds of calamity and all that jazz. So hopefully we'll be able to get that to you by the end of the month, if not sooner, but who knows. But just be looking out for that. And if you're a creator waiting, don't wait. Go ahead and post on the forums. Hurry up and do that, and you can get a head start on whatever it is that you want to create, be it harasser items or knives or anything that you want to work on that we have available. Just be prepared. So get it ready and have it waiting on stash. So, all right, we'll go to the next one. We've got another awesome helmet. The NC Viper. Like, this one came out pretty good. I like this one. I think this one has already been submitted, and it has yet to be worked on. But I wanted to show you guys something, just on this one. Like, this is a pretty decent helmet, and I don't have too much to say about it. Not at all. There are a couple, not really much to say about it. I would say maybe these edges are probably too close together. Spread those out just a little bit. Just give it a little bit of breathing room. But other than that, man, I think this is a pretty good helmet. The geometry straight. See that? Look at that. Straight across. Not a lot of junk on the inside. Hold up. Hold up. I may stand corrected, sir. What we got in here? Yeah, there you go. You got some geometry on the inside. Can't have that. So luckily, I looked at that. So now, when I go back to my desk and start looking at this helmet, I'll know that these things need to be deleted. So there you go. You got some inside faces. Always delete the inside faces that cannot be seen, please. Other than that, the geometry is straight. Look at that, nice and clean. Ready to deform around the neck. Pretty good. Lots of little details. Not too many details. Too many small details. I see a lot of people making that mistake. Really small details that really don't amount to anything, and then as you back up on it, just assume if you look at this and you're looking at the geometry already highlighted, you're probably going to see it on screen about like that most times, maybe like that big. You see all of his shapes still kind of show up, but anything smaller than what he currently has, it's gonna vanish into a blob. So don't even waste your time with little bitty cuts and little bitty vents and stuff like that. All right, let me get my next one. Who's the next one up? The Banshee, which didn't. I'm just going straight. Mr. Beast Buster, man, Beast Buster is on top of things. He's got a new helmet, new concept for a helmet, and I think this one's pretty cool. I like this one. Nice TR helmet. What do you guys think? You think this is a winner? Think this is a winner? I think it is. I think it's pretty cool. I think he loves it. Absolutely loves this one. Winner, winner, chicken dinner, says Giz. Pretty damn good. Love it. I'm a big fan. Dead man tell him. Dead man told him. Dead man told him. All right. And McFluff, of course, gave it the greater than boobs sign. Nicely done. All right. Do want. You demand, Beast. Reddington. All great quotes. We'll put that on the helmet when you buy it. Yeah, it's a pretty good one. I really can't say anything unless I see the back and it just turns into garbage. So hopefully it won't be garbage on the back. So I know Beastbuster is a pro at this. Seeing as how he's getting paid now, he's a pro. I trust that he'll make the right decisions on the back. But pretty good start. Nice concept. Love it. All right. See what else we got here. P3D. Okay. All right. I like this one. I think this is a pretty good helmet. What do you guys think? Anyone? Anyone? I think this is a pretty good helmet. I like this. The only thing I would tell you on this one is again, make sure that your subdivisions are even. You got a little hump in there. But again, when you got these things like this, you got some density issues going on here. So you got a lot of geometry going back here, and then scrunching up and pinching and just kind of not really necessary back here. See how this just kind of like just kind of goes in and just kind of bunches up. Doesn't really actually change the silhouette of the helmet itself. Some of these things can be you just remove them and use that geometry somewhere else. And then you have like these two kind of horn-like things that are fairly lightweight as far as the geometry goes. You can spin that and spin these extra ones in here to kind of round that shape out. Maybe even bevel that edge right there. Burp. Yeah, so I mean, you got like some opportunities here to buy back some things without actually changing the look of the helmet. And I would make these round because making them look, as they look stretched, they look like mistakes. So this should be round in here. It looks like you kind of stretched out the helmet and then forgot to straighten this stuff out. And you got some texture issues in here that you need to clean up. Clean up this stuff. You know that the normal map's there, so now you probably need to pick somewhere else that's flat, unless you really wanted that there. But I would advise against it. What else do you have? Yeah, same thing here. Just kind of round this stuff out. Use that extra geometry that you buy back and round it out. Like things like this, where it kind of you just have it at the edge. Just go ahead and collapse it all the way down. So at least you don't need these extra verts there. These are going to cause trouble if you try to do an edge loop or something to that edge. It's going to act a fool up in there. and right up in here, right here, that's a good candidate for bevel versus a smoothing group right there. There you go. So other than that, I think you are off to a good start. You got some cool stuff. You got some cool shapes, a good design. That's where it all starts, at the design phase, concept phase. Looks like Ultron to me. Looks like Ultron. I like that. It's pretty cool. All right, let's move on to the next one. Anybody got any questions? Just go ahead and toss those in the chat and I will find them. What about helms with the same base but variance perfection? No. So early on, when guys were just trying to, pump out a bunch of helmets, Beastbusters is kind of guilty of that. And I called him on that, and he actually answered the call. But it's in order to pump out a bunch of stuff, you start with a decent base, and then you alter the base. But what happens as you start to get further down that line, you subconsciously get stuck in this rut because you're starting from a common base. So then, as you get 4 or 5 variations down the line, the 5th one looks like the first one. And it's totally subconscious. I know nobody's out there trying to, pull a fast one over me, but it's just the nature of it. So I would say after maybe 3-4 variations of a helmet that you started with the base, start with a completely different base, or start completely over at the very onset of it. But that way you can stop the whole portion of your development process that actually gyrates on this one thing, trying to make it look really, really different when the actual guts of it is the first helmet that you made. So it's kind of hard to kind of get out of that rut. So I would suggest maybe using that base times and then tossing it and starting with a new one. Variation, yeah, we do. Sometimes we do variations. Like Coffee Outlaw has, he had 2 helmets. He had Scout helmet. Then we did a variation of that one that was like a full metal Scout helmet, which to this day, Coffee, is your best-selling helmet. Probably next to the Phantasm, which is probably going to surpass that by far. So when the Phantasm comes out, then you can, you can laugh at me. But until then, I'm laughing at you because you didn't even want that helmet. So there. And then he has a variation of he's got a cracked variation of Scout helmet. So we do variations every once in a while. No NS helmets in Player Studio. And I'm going to tell you why. Because NS helmets, they fall in this category that's vaguely defined and really cannot be, I would say, can't be described in a way that it can't be justified to an outside source. So it's harder to say, okay, this is NS, as opposed to as it is to say this is not TR or this is TR. So in order to keep things in line and not get into these arguments of what is and what isn't, I just won't put it on the Player Studio because it's just going to be a lot harder to kind of justify some of the shape language in there. NS has a certain shape language that we try to go with it, but NS in itself is supposed to be generic sci-fi. And at that point it becomes less of it becomes more subjective to my personal opinion, and I want it to be less subjective to my personal opinion and based on the rules that we set forth. So as opposed to me saying I don't like it, it's more about it doesn't fit, and it's really hard for NS to kind of lend itself to that kind of critique. So for that reason, we're just not going to put it out there. V King, you want me to? I think I have V King on my thing over here. Do I have it? I could have swore I did. Nope. All right, I'll try to find V King. Let me know what page it's on though. Okay, so when you're asking me to find one of your helmets or whatnot in a list of thousands, please tell me where it is and what page it's on so that I can at least try to find it. So I've seen V King in there. I'm not about to thumb through it now, but I'm gonna just go through these real quick, and then when I get a chance, I'll take a look at V King. We've got let's see how much time we got left. Got about 15 minutes left. Let me blow through these real quick. So that was a Banshee. Let me see, what is this one? Oh yes, this one. So Skyfer, my good friend Skyfer, was having some issues with making some changes to this helmet. And I understand that. That's understandable. But you gotta understand, Skyfer, my whole purpose here is to try to help you make money. And with my experience with this, people don't normally like friendly helmets. If it looks friendly or unassuming or non-confrontational, people don't particularly like those helmets. They need to look mean. You need to look like a badass when you're putting that helmet on. You don't need to look like you're questioning your existence. So with this helmet, it started off as fairly straight-faced, and I told him to say, look, man, you gotta add some mean to it. You gotta give it a little bit of grimace to it. It's gotta look like it's ready for war. So I think he took that well, but of course he had some reservations about changing the way he wanted to make this helmet, which is fine. But these are my suggestions. My suggestions are to help you make money. These are not for my own personal pleasure. I don't get off on, hey, I made Skyfer change that helmet. Ha ha ha. I'm the god of everything. That's not me. I'm trying to make sure that Skyfer gets paid. That's it. That's it. Really simple. I'm happy for you when you get your paycheck. And I can have you on the show and you can talk about all the money that you made. That's awesome. But this helmet was really well done. I think I talked about this one last week. And I liked how it was turning out. Like I said, I had some doubts at first. But it's coming out pretty good. I like it. I don't know what's the deal with the chin or the neck sock. What's going on there? Don't really know. I don't know if it's supposed to have a neck sock. I don't know. Is it? Sky, for you in chat, is it supposed to have a neck sock? That's cool too. Not all helmets supposed to don't need neck socks. They can just fit over the head of the guy or the female. So, I like this geometry. Geometry looks good. It's nice and clean. Everything's nice and tight. Nothing wasted. Very good helmet. Very good. If you want any deformation back here, you might want to subdivide this though. But again, I don't know what the plans are for that helmet. But this is really close to the back of the neck, so you might just want to right there. Cut that right there. But yeah, I like this helmet. Pretty good. Hurry up and get done with this so we can put this on the market. It's pretty cool stuff. All right, let's see who else we got here. Okay, this is one of our foreigners, I do believe. This is our good friend Stubborn's helmet, I think so. And again, the neck thing. Okay, let's look at this. Look at this. So the geometry doesn't match. You see that? It kind of runs into there, and then it's going to have some issues. It's got this thing set to rotate, and that's totally annoying. Turn this thing off. No. Alright, so yeah, right here, all the geometry has to match. So the underlying geometry is the geometry that you need to match, and this all has to cut through this, has to cut through that, and it has to cut through this. So you can do one or two things. You can line this up with the verts, or you can just go ahead and cut it. Looks like you are kind of close, but I think you can buy back some stuff if you need to. I don't know what's going on with this thing. That looks a little weird. Little reverse ear hole. I would just go ahead and take that and just kind of continue that around. Make that simple instead of poking it out like that. What else is going on here? sharpen this little butt cheek back here. Yeah, clean that up. Make that nice and sharp as opposed to bubbly. Because that seems like the only kind of bubbly shape on there. It seems a little out of place. All your rest of your shapes are really faceted like that. And of course, if you can't buy back those polygons to sharpen up these edges with geometry, you know, go ahead and leave those facets there with smoothing groups. But you want to try to buy that back as best you possibly can. Again, neck sock. When you got the neck, it's got to be subdivided evenly. But other than that, I think that's a good design. I think it's got some good shapes in there. It's a nice looking helmet. So keep it going, stubborn. Alright, let's see who else we got here. The silverback. Alright, I threw this in here because it is completely off. And I want to show you guys. Hey, Dreamweb, if you don't want to be positive in here, you don't have to be in here. You know, I don't want anybody in here bashing anybody else. That's not called for. So if you want to call somebody's work ugly, present your stuff so we can call yours ugly. That's only fair, right? You get a chance to bash somebody, we get a chance to bash you. Let's go for it. Post your stuff up. We'll see what it looks like. Other than that, we don't need the negativity. It's not necessary. So this one, while I appreciate the effort, it's not really PlanetSide 2. So you might want to, like, if you want it to look kind of like an ape or something like that, you can start with a helmet and then kind of make it kind of look like apish, but not starting with the ape and then trying to make a helmet out of it. That's not going to really work as far as like fitting into PlanetSide 2. So I'd say start over, because it's probably easier that way. But I just wanted to show you guys that, because he wanted to be NC and it's not really going to work with the NC aesthetic. So rethink that one and then come with a different design. Let's see, two more. We got TR here. Scout helmet. So, okay, Mr. Daniel Schrecker, you out there? Hopefully you're out there. I want you to be. So this helmet, I don't really know what to think about it. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's not really a good design for TR. Is really what it boils down to. And sometimes you hit it and sometimes you miss. It's just simple. Just keep on trying, though. There's nothing wrong with that. We do it all the time internally. We do it all the time. You know, we come up with certain concepts, and you know, 9 out of 10 of those concepts are garbage, and then you get one that's a gem. So you just got to keep on pushing and keep on trying. But like this one, I don't think it works for the TR. So last one on my hit list, and let's see how much time we got left. Oh, got 8 minutes left. I can blow through this. So Harasser Bowtie Shadow Rims. I like this one, Mr. Crossfire X1. Nice. I like this one. I think you had some different versions of it, like the dark ones. I think the chrome ones show up best. So I would go with chrome, if at all possible. Yeah, because these blend in too much. You want it to stick out. You want people to know that that's your thing on that tire. So there you go. So there you go. Mr. Crossfire, you've done a damn good job there. So go ahead, and I would say go ahead and submit that. That's a done deal. You're good to go. No more noodling around with it. Just do it. All right, so with the 8 minutes left on this thing, probably less now, 7 minutes, I want to let you guys know that we also have other streams coming on. We just had an episode of the Command Center last week. If you missed it, it's still up on the Twitch stream. You can find that in the archives on the Twitch channel, or you can find it on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and get some updates every time we post those. I think we'll probably be posting that episode hopefully next week or this week. And of course, Friday Night Ops every Friday. Got to do it every Friday, 5 to 7 Pacific Standard Time. And then, of course, Work in Progress every Tuesday, 3 to 5, where you get to see what we're working on in real time. It's just like 24. It happens in real time. So, if you want to see what we're working on next, tune in to Work in Progress. I think they're working on Hassan. And, of course, every Monday, 5 to 6, inside the Player Studio for all your latest informations about inside the Player Studio. And, of course, we're going to be having other Player Studio teams on here as well. We're going to try to have some EQ and EQ2 guys on here talking about what they need to do and what people need to do when they make Player Studio items. So I think I'm going to try to do that next week. It's going to be awesome. And of course, we got Community Clash, which is not up on here, and I believe that's on Wednesday, every Wednesday at 5, if I'm not mistaken. And then, of course, my good friends, if you ain't up on it, you better get up on it. I think you missed it already. You missed the you missed the discounted prices, but that's fine. You can still sign up. You can register. Hold up. What day is it? Oh, man, you are in luck. I cannot believe this. This is your last day. Your last day is May 12th. Look at that. Expires today. Your early registration discount, $129. It goes up tomorrow. So if you haven't registered for SOE Live, please do so today. You'll miss out on the fun. It's Vegas. Come on. How can you not have fun in Vegas? Vegas is 94 days until SOE Live. It'll be 93 by the time you miss out on the early discount. So you better get on it. You got like a couple hours left. Get on it. August 14th through the 17th. Planet Hollywood. Las Vegas. It's going to be good. We got some tournaments. PlanetSide 2 tournament. Good stuff going on. We'll probably have a bunch of other stuff. I'm going to have a sweet party. Sweet party on the 14th. It's going to be all good. All your friends are invited. Anybody, whoever wants to show up can show up. It's going to be all good. Panoramic suite. Hanging out like the ballers do. That's what I do. So, that's how it is, folks. Back to the main camera. So I appreciate it. Thanks for all the people from hanging out. I've got 4 minutes left. Anybody got any questions? Have you uploaded the last episode? Last episode of what? Command Center or Player Studio? Player Studio episode is up. So if you want to check that out, the last episode, episode 5, is up on the YouTube channel. If you want to get updates and know when that actually goes up, please subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow me on Twitter at PSTRay, where I'm at. Is that right there? Right there. Follow me on Twitter. Bam. Every time it goes up, I post a tweet. I tweet it out so everybody knows what to do and where to go. So, somebody submitted a decal feather bomber a while ago. Did I check it out? I am not sure. I don't know what it looks like, so I can't really tell you if it's... Did it get declined? Did it go through? Did you get, did it get some, indication that it was moving forward? I don't know. You're not giving me enough information. Let's see. Got 2 minutes. 2 minutes. SOE uses ZBrush and Maya. Yes, we do. ZBrush and Maya at the same time. All the time, all day. So, there you go. Player Studio in Australia. I do not know. I cannot give you an answer with that. So, hopefully, in the future sometime. That's all I can give you at this point. Belt-fed machine guns. For Player Studio? I don't know. It's possible. Anything's possible. What I want to do with the weapons, I want to, start off slow, get the melee weapons in there first. Start with that process. And like I said a couple times before, we're working on a tool so that you guys can do a lot of this work yourselves, and definitely not going to happen before we get that tool done and into your hands, and so that you can get some practice with that stuff. So we don't want to overwhelm you too much, but that's definitely going to happen. So when we do weapons, it'll be well after we get the tool into your hands so you can get acquainted with that, and hopefully you can make belt-fed machine guns then. Who knows? Anything's possible. Let's see. I'm going to do one more question, and it'll be 6 o'clock. will there be melee weapons that you throw? It's not a melee weapon if you throw it. Or is it? I don't know. We're just talking about that. Throwing knives and stuff like that. We talked about it. It is possible. It's the next evolution in melee weapons, I believe. So it is possible that you could have throwing knives sometime in the future. Okay, I think that's it for me. It is 6 o'clock and I got to get out of here. I actually still have to go back to work. I got to go back over to building 2 and do some more work. So I appreciate you guys from hanging out with me. It's been really lovely, really lovely. Trust me, I really appreciate you guys hanging out. Tune in next week, next Monday, for Inside the Player Studio.